Okay, Leo, welcome to Catalyst Energies and welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Dee. Thank you for joining me. I am so grateful that you are here. So, there is normally what this would be is we would look at the weekly astrology. It's really bi-weekly for these astrology forecasts per sign, but we would be looking new moon or full moon. So this report is leading up to the new moon in Capricorn. That's going to be happening on January 2nd, 2022, the beginning of 2022. What a great way to set some intentions with this new moon in Capricorn. But it's really the astrology of the weekend of the 24th and 25th leading into the third quarter moon on the 26th that is just astounding. So we're just going to unpack that and just know that the week leading up to the new moon, the main things that will happen are that Jupiter will move into Pisces, into your 8th house, and Mercury will move into your 7th house of Aquarius as well. But the big stuff is this weekend. It's huge. So let's get right into it because there's so much here. And with this major transit that we see here, Jupiter in Aquarius at the 30 degrees, the moon at 30 degrees Leo, right? Leo, this is in the area of your actual identity and persona, and something about you cannot be contained anymore. And there's a deep sensitivity to it that the moon is representing. And this is exact today, very early, like on the 24th, like midnight. So late on the 23rd, very early in the morning on the 24th, this opposition with Jupiter. So this Leo, the moon's been moving through your first house the last couple days. And so the intuition, the deep feeling, the sensitivity, maybe like a drive or an urge in some ways, is really being strongly felt in the realm of your identity, right, as a Leo person. And it culminates at this last degree where the deep sensitivity to a part, you can't hide yourself anymore, Leo. You have to unveil yourself to the world because the Leo person is the center of the stage, right? It is the, the unsealed letter. And in opposition to Jupiter is kind of more of this, I don't want to call it a stabilizing force, but it keeps us in this last degree of Aquarius. All the work that Jupiter is represented as going through your 7th house, Leo, of a deep inner search for meaning in your relationships, in your binding agreements, and really training all of us and disciplining us to stay on our focus, right? To stay in that laser point focus that Aquarius represents, and to stay and to find meaning in the collective experience or the social organism as a whole. Because a Leo person is a shining star, but they can only really find themselves in relationship in the heavens themselves, right? Remember, our sun is a star, and Leo people are, they are sun-ruled people, right? But they need the rest of the heavens in order to really find who they are in relationship. It's about being much more of the water bearer when the Leo person is in some sort of binding contract or interpersonal relationship or commitment. So this opposition with Jupiter is really just like hold fast. Like it's good that you are. You can't contain who you are, but it is that opposition. We have to find the fulcrum, right? The midpoint here in these oppositions to really get the most out of them. So you don't want to stifle this sensitive awareness of who you are and the fullness that needs to be shared with the world, but you also don't want to completely descend into that feeling and risk compromising all of the training and the deep inner search for meaning that your relationships bring you, that Jupiter has been doing this whole time. So the opposition is keeping that balance. Now, it's also part of a grand square. If you see here with the nodal axis of the moon is the other two angles of the square. So a grand square is a structure we can't get out from, right? We can't get out of this. We can't go around it. We can't go over it, under it. We have to just go through it. That's what a grand square ultimate, it's the ultimate in challenge in the astrological chart. And it really keeps you in your lane, right? There's no getting around any of this. You have to face and confront what these aspects are bringing out, and ultimately finding our center or finding our infinite self within this framework. So this opposition is already powerful in terms of its position. Excuse me. I've been recording for hours and hours, and so at this point my voice is starting to get shot. So forgive me if I just drinking throughout. I know sometimes that's just really hard for people listening, and you don't want to hear people swallowing, and so I'll try to turn away from the mic. But to keep the flow going, I can't keep turning the mic off. Anyway, it's part of this grand square, and that we can't get out of. It's also very karmic, because you have the nodal axis of the moon that's about to shift into new signs. So we don't want to necessarily get out of it. We want to learn and we want to grow, and it's challenge and conflict like this that is our best teacher. And so it's good to embrace it. Now, the other aspect at the same time is Saturn, also in the 7th house, is in a square to Uranus. Now, this is always going to be a huge challenge because these two are never getting along. They're two titans, and they represent completely contradictory realms. So material realm, time, space, gravity, right? Classical physics, materialism. This is Saturn's realm, right? The atom and matter and the law that governs those things. So that is Saturn. And so it's got a structure, it's got a scaffolding, it's a support, and it's very much been a huge anchor for Leo in terms of who they are in their relationships, like very steady, unwavering, responsible, and taking responsibility as well. Now, when you have Saturn in a square to Uranus like this, now Uranus is not material at all. It is immaterial. It is gnosis. It is the charge that moves through the cohesive collective. It is the energy that moves through the medium of existence, or the fabric of the universe. It is Aquarius represents the energy that moves through that connects everything together, whether it be light and like photonic light, plasma, cosmic rays, but really it is the energy that as a whole connects an entire social organism or an ecosystem. So, but it's the whole, and it's something. Uranus rules Aquarius, and so it is something that is beyond time and space, but it's very real. Now, Uranus is a trickster, and what it does is turn everything sideways to force you to wake up. And so sometimes you can participate in this process in order to innovate or to solve a problem or to change your perspective in order to come to a new level of awareness. So, but when it's squaring with Saturn, Saturn is just like, no, I'm staying right here and I'm not moving. Well, Uranus is going to move. And for the Leo person, Uranus has been very unstable in the realm of career and public and professional life, right? It's right now, especially, we're all kind of shopping around for a reality here, especially internally, because there is no stability in this realm. And for Leo, it's in the realm of career. So it's okay to have this variability. I think we kind of need it right now. And again, Uranus is the agent of awakening. And so even though it's hard to not have any consistency or to feel very settled or balanced in the realm of, well, anywhere, but for Leo, in terms of your mission and your professional and public life, it's okay to go through the flip book and to shop around for what you're, how to fully express this part of yourself. Now, we need the freedom to do that, and the square to Saturn is going to challenge this to the point that if we do not allow some sort of adaptability or flexibility, there's going to be a crack in the foundation. And the foundation for Leo right now is in who you are in your interpersonal relationships, your integrity in your contractual arrangements and your binding relationships. And if you don't, if you are responding in a way to this variability and lack of stability in your professional life or your career, and so staunchly invested in this one aspect of your identity in these contractual arrangements and relationships, that it will crack. Yeah, there'll be some sort of impact on the structural integrity of who you are in your relationships. If you make a hasty decision, if you don't accept that this is a retrograde Uranus and is meant to be turning things sideways so that we wake up, but we're not supposed to, it's still retrograde, right? A lot of this is internalized right now, and we're still shopping around in the reality that we may want. Now, the thing about Uranus, Saturn, even though that it is so stable and almost too much in this situation, that could cause some cracks in the foundation. It can really challenge stability in a very social way, challenge political and social power. And as a Leo person, being very royal in terms of your identity, to have your sovereignty and your authority challenged in your interpersonal relationships can really it's just not going to go well, potentially. So again, if you are really able to harness Uranus and the variability and the fact that it doesn't compromise, just because the Uranus turns sideways doesn't make it any less powerful. It just is spinning. Its axis is just spinning. It's spinning on its axis in a different orientation now. But now you have a totally new perspective. So, but Saturn, if it's unyielding, which it usually is, in terms of wherever it's at, it's just going to break, and potentially. And having the holidays can either be a great distraction from all of this, or it could really amplify it and cause, it just really depends. And, certainly relationships and interpersonal relationships and your binding agreements being involved during the holidays it could very well be brought to the surface. So this is Friday. Now the 25th is Saturday, and this is when we have Venus and Pluto come back to a conjunction, the second conjunction out of 3. This is in your 6th house. You also have Mars is in your 5th house in Sagittarius and is in a trine to Chiron, now direct in your 9th house. So let's unpack this. So Venus has already come into conjunction with Pluto last week. That was pretty impactful. And now there's been some deep inventory and some review of what the meaning that Venus in Capricorn realizes, I think, and brings a sense of meaning and value to not just ourselves, but what's best for everyone and the cohesion of the social order, right? And so this could also have to do with our bodies, right? Because Venus does rule that, rules our bodies, rules our sensitivity to the world around us. And for the Leo person, this conjunction is happening in the 6th house. In fact, the 6th house for the Leo person is where major transformation has been initiated with Pluto to begin with. And so to have Venus involved is bringing it right into our lap, right into our bodies, right into our value and meaning. And so for the Leo person, this is in the realm of what you do on the daily, right? What are your routines? What are your habits? What are you engaging with on a daily basis that's actually creating the rest of who you are in your relationships? The 6th house is how we reconstitute ourselves when we are able to analyze what we are learning about ourselves and our characters developing. So and what are the daily habits and routines that we are participating in that really create us? What aspects about that that have been meaningful in the past, maybe that still have some meaning, maybe we thought had meaning, and then Pluto came along and it changed everything for us, and we are now reassessing what that actually means. But in terms of like your everyday habits, your works, right? What are you doing in service? What are you doing to purify your own self? These are all sixth house types of activities and agendas. So for the Leo person, again, really assessing and taking deep inventory and possibly releasing even more to Pluto, possibly consciously now that Venus is in retrograde. Here, we didn't get it all. Let's get some more and make sure that, that we really root out a lot of the stuff that may be kind of embedded in areas that we haven't really worked with before. So for the Leo person, this is the sixth house is the area of most concern just in general. This is where some of the deepest transformation is happening. And it's not easy in the sixth house because there's usually some sort of health crisis or some other crisis or challenge that forces the personal growth to be happening. So maybe there's some things here in terms of relationships, in terms of the value of the daily grind that you were realizing, like, I am done with this shit. And maybe it's going to have to take a couple passes with Pluto before Venus, you realize, Leo, that it's like enough. Now, Mercury's here thinking a lot about and analyzing things now, likes to be in the sixth house. And then, like I said, Mars is in conjunction with Antares, okay? In your fifth house of your joy and your fun and your optimism. It's going to spit some truth, right? Mars is going to spit some truth through fire because Antares is the heart of the Scorpion. It is in relation to Archangel Uriel. It's going to spit some fiery truth right across the bow here and meet Chiron directly in a trine to Chiron in your ninth house of what you believe, right? What's the meaning of all of it? What gives the meaning to what you're even contributing to as a career or mission? This is, the variability in the 10th house and the fact that it's not settled is probably, a good thing considering the fact that the belief systems that are underlying these contributions and building these this mission or whatever it is for you, Leo. I mean, you really kind of, I think, not kind of, the wounds, the inner child wounds and the victim mentality is most being expressed in a larger social context of meaning and of meaning and understanding and religion and dogma and philosophy and the broad picture here. For the Leo person, in order to establish understanding, there needs to be a freedom of self. And what that is not happening for the Leo person with Chiron here, and it's now direct. And so something about what brings you joy and fun, it's going to sting like no other. It's going to hurt, but it's also going to be very forceful and direct and very assertively spitting that truth over to Chiron and either allowing for some very profound healing moments of what has been, what types of identities have been superimposed on the Leo that is influencing belief systems and influencing collective values that actually don't have anything to do with the Leo person. This is why the moon at the last degree of Leo is so important right now. It cannot be contained. And the relationship with Chiron and especially Mars and Sagittarius, all of this really strong fire energy for the Leo is it's true, it can't be contained, and it's going to be through our passion and through our release of joy and fun and all of the expression that the fifth house allows for the individual. It's like I said, it's gonna spit the truth, the fiery truth, and Leo can either take that and it's going to burn and it's going to sting, but it's also going to heal profoundly what is absolutely not who you are, not related to what you actually believe. Like what your belief systems and what the meaning that has been contributing to your career thus far with Chiron and Aries has been imposed upon you for guilt and shame and perhaps like being a victim in some way. So whatever comes out of the fifth house, and Leo, be mindful about Mars in the fifth house. You can really make some drastic, hasty decisions and actions here, and you got the fire of Uriel behind you. You don't want to burn too many bridges here. You don't want to burn it all down. You just want to purify that which is ready to be released in the realm of beliefs and meaning, okay, Leo? So when we get to the 26th, which is the actual third quarter moon squaring the sun. The sun is in your sixth house as well, and is always in your sixth house every time of the year when it's Scorpio season. But now it's going to be also with Mercury and Pluto, and well, it's been with Pluto for many, many years now, but Venus is along too. So remember, Venus rules your 10th house. And so it's important what Venus is representing because of the relationship to where Uranus is in this whole situation, and the values of your day-to-day work and service and how it relates to your overall mission. That is it's changing. It's changing for all of us. But for Leo, it's really about what you're actually creating in the world, like materially and in real time, and what you're contributing to institutionally in many ways. So let's get to the actual point of the third quarter moon, because it's going to be this moon in Libra, and then the sun in Capricorn in your sixth house. So we talked about that, and the moon here in Libra is in your third house, Leo. So on the one hand, you will start to really put a lot of attention here in this moment. There'll be a lot of attention being paid to finishing what you started, right? And so if you've made a commitment to something, and there's something in very specific that is in line with a Leo person that I know, that I'm like, oh, this is exactly what's happening with them. They've made a commitment in the realm of their everyday work life, their everyday routines and habits, and what they're actually doing on the daily. They made a commitment to finish what they started, and they made a commitment to stay in this position for so long, even though they are really feeling the constant disruption in the realm of what is my career. I have no idea, because it's all my awareness of it is always changing, because the landscape is always changing. And but there's a sense here that the focus will be on, I'm going to finish what I've started. I'm going to complete the task, and I'm not going to cross the threshold until that is completed. Now, the square to the moon over in the third house for Leo is a sensitivity that is developing in this moment in particular, that is going to stress the feeling that in order to actually materialize something in these other realms, the Leo person will have to start visualizing in their mind's eye what it is that they want very clearly in their mind, and in their immediate environment, in their thoughts, in their written words, right? All of the realm of the third house is the realm of the mind and the neurological patterns. And so in order to make changes to these other realms, we're starting to become sensitive to what we need to start visualizing. And for Leo, it's very much going to be literally in the realm of the immediate environment and words, written, verbal, the ideas that we entertain, and certainly the information that and a skill, right? And a technique and a practice. We have to start really visualizing it. So this is subtle, but this crisis of consciousness that the third quarter square is going to bring this up. Where is my consciousness? Well, it's going to be in both places, and they're both valid. And it's a matter, again, of being able to lean into the discomfort and grow as a result. And these are not mutually exclusive things, but they do operate at cross purposes, because one is cardinal earth, so it's very material, and the other is cardinal air, so it has a lot to do with the mind and knowledge, especially in the third house. So there may be a sense here that we have to start Leo will have to begin visualizing a new training program, a new learning program, a new curriculum, maybe just a new mental construct in general. These are all third house things. A new route to wherever you want to get to, or a new skill set. It seems to be part of this. And then we come into the new moon, which is going to be on the 2nd. And so the 2nd is, like I said, 2022, and we are going to let it burn, my friends. Leo in particular, in your 6th house, let it burn, right? Just let it happen in terms of the reconstitution, in terms of the purification. Let the fire be the purifying agent in your surrender to yourself, right? That the fire is the symbol of transcendence, because it represents death and rebirth in the same experience. The consumption of resources to feed the fire, then that becomes the rebirth of the flame. So when we honor that and we recognize that, we can set an intention to grow holistically over the course of the month with that intention in mind. And for the Leo person, it's going to be, what are you doing on the daily? What is happening on the daily that is ready to be purified and released, and to just let it burn away. Just let it burn away. You don't even have to do anything necessarily, Leo. You just have to set the intention that the purification of fire is going to purify you as a person, and free up space for you to put your daily activities towards something else. And that's something that'll grow over the course of the month. I don't think we're really going to start seeing things break loose in these ways until after Uranus stations direct, which is on the 18th of January, and then moving into February. So, Leo, interesting times for all of us, but let it burn, my friend, let it burn. So I take a drink of water here. Thank you so much for being here and being patient with the need to drink water. And if you are interested in a personal reading, to get more information, to get on my mailing list, social media, email, website, all of that stuff, it's in the description box below, okay? And so you can get everything you need for a personal reading, or to, if you want to support this work, you can subscribe to these channels. You can like or comment or share in terms of this content. It really does make a difference, and you can support this work financially. Cannot stress enough how important it is for me to continue doing this, to start amassing paying subscribers, right? This is a lot of work, and I love to do it, and it is truly my mission. And so I trust that I will be provided for if I am in line with my mission. But I would be I definitely need to take some initiative to let you know that I have Subscribestar, and you can support this work with $3 a month to get all of this content. So if you wouldn't mind considering that, you can hang out at the end of this video and get some more information about that. So Leo, have a great weekend, however you may celebrate or not this holiday, and a great week, and we will check back in very soon. Take care, Leo. Bye. Hold on one second. Getting used to all these new systems. Okay, Leo, take care. I'll talk to you soon, and have a great weekend. Bye.